So I came across this post on Instagram by Faces by Bravo. It says, Jizzy giving advice on relationships and infidelity is just as comical as her giving advice on fashion or interior design. Let me tell you, y'all, when she was talking to Ashley last night, I was like, oh no, you was not giving relationship advice, girl. Now, something she would be good at giving advice on is parenting, because those girls, let me tell you something, they will read her for filth and read her down in the name of love. All right, let's get into this intro, y'all. What's going on, Skye Squad? We are back in the building. It's your boy DJRichieSkye back on a good Monday morning, and we are here to recap the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 6, Episode 3, okay? The headline reads, well, the title of this video reads, Gizelle checks Wendy. And she did have to check her a little bit, and we're going to talk about it in this video and how she did it and why she did it and all that good stuff. And we sort of see the cracks in these friendships and as tensions begin to rise. Also, we get a little verbal smackdown between Mia and Wendy, and we'll talk about how that goes down as well. So before we get into all that, make sure you guys let me know in that chatterization, okay, where you're watching from, because you know I'm nosy, okay? And we want to know where our people are watching from. We got Canada in the building, Bowie, Maryland, Townsend, Georgia. Hey, who else is up in here? Akron, Ohio. We got Virginia in the house. First time catching alive? Well, welcome to the fam, okay? Who else we got in here? California, Atlanta in the His Not Eat, okay? U.S. Virgin Island, New Orleans, San Antonio, Texas. Who else is in the building? Bermuda, Prospect, VA, Jersey, Belize is in the building. Detroit, Gary, Indiana, Ophelia, Alabama, Lee Acres, Bermuda, High Acres. That's Lehigh Acres. Macomb, Michigan. Mississippi, excuse me. Houston, Texas, Boston, Trinidad, Landover, Houston, Dale City. I see y'all. Rockville, Maryland, right down the street. London, I see you. Come on, Queen City. Namibia is in the building again. Morro Bay, Chi-Town, West Palm Beach. Listen, thank you guys for joining the chatterization today. We're going to dive right on into this episode. But before we do, you guys, I want you in the chatterization, I want you guys to give me your rating of this episode on a scale of 1 to 10, okay? Now, I'm going to give it an 8.5, okay? I'm going to give it an 8.5, and we're going to talk about it. And that 8.5, I want you guys to know, I rate Potomac on a scale, on a curve that's a bit higher than some of the other franchises. So an 8.5 for Potomac is not going to be the same as an 8.5 for some other shows. I would say like Real Housewives of Atlanta, because I tried to be a little bit more forgiving with Real Housewives of Atlanta this past season. So this 8.5 is really a higher rating, okay? But let me tell you why I'm going to give it an 8.5. I'm going to give it an 8.5 mostly because last night's episode, and I'm trying to figure out what they're trying to do. Last night's episode, we get a conversation with Gizelle and Ashley. You guys may recall this scene here. Now, I'm going to point something out to you that a commenter wrote. Be good. I hope you don't mind me reading this comment, but Be Good asks, where is the Eddie rumors bit? We know they filmed it here. Gizelle needs to stop speaking on people's relationships when hers is non-existent consistently. Now, the part that I'm taking away points on is that they did not give us that moment where we know that Gizelle brings up the rumors. So to me, I don't like that, because I feel like what they're going to do is edit it in later at a different point in time. When I say, why do that? Because you've already given us that moment in the trailer, so we know it's coming. And we know it was filmed here in this scene. So why take it out in order to just put it back in later? okay? Because again, we know what happened. We know what happened here. So I didn't like that because I feel like it's going to be some type of little throwaway reference that we'll get later when Gizelle and Wendy really builds up. Exactly. They're going to use it as a flashback. And I kind of don't like that. I mean, I still need to see how they're going to use it, and maybe it'll make more sense when they do it. But I'm taking away some points for that. I'm also taking away some points for the introduction to Askala. Now, Askala is our Ethiopian queen on this show, and I just felt like we were all, I was excited about meeting a potential new friend of, because they don't really have that many friends of on this show. So to me, I felt like if you were going to introduce us to her, then really give us an introductory package so we get some background information. And I know sometimes that could be reserved for housewives only, but the reason I say that we needed more of an intro is because she had a pivotal point in this week's episode, and maybe they will give us more of her intro package next week. Similar to how they did with Mia. They introduced her in episode 1 and then really gave us her package in episode 2. But I just feel like because the action is already happening and this show moves very, very fast, which is something that I have to compliment the cast on and the editors and the producers on, because they don't waste no time. They don't, at least from what I can see, they don't linger on one subject for too long. It keeps moving. So for me, I just felt like she deserved that introduction. That's just how I feel. You're right, Natalie. The same thing was done in Huntsville as well with the introduction to Tiffany. We kind of got an introduction to her via Melody, but I wanted a full package because I felt like we deserved that, especially if you're going to be introducing someone new to the scene that's going to be playing a pivotal role in some of either the content, the gossip, or what have you. Okay, so that's my rating for this week, and let's go ahead and dive into the episode. So we begin episode 3 with Robin laying in the bed at 8:25 or 26 on a Monday morning. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Miss Bless. Miss Bless says they're going to play it when it gets messy and hitting below the belt. And I say, build it up slow for us. Give us these little droplets because we know it's coming. So why wait? You know what I mean? Thank you, Miss Bless, for the super chat. We really appreciate that here. Now, so let's get into it. Robin is laying in bed at 8:26 on a Monday morning. Juan is checking to see if the boys are awake. Now, she gets out of bed to get them up and then goes right back to bed. We find out that Carter has class at 9:10, but she's not going to get up until 9:07. And Juan has to tell her to get up. Now, I don't know if this scene is being played in this way purposely to emphasize this fact that Robin is going through something. I did look at this scene with a little bit of a critical eye because I was like, this don't really seem like, it didn't seem natural. But that's just me, and I could be wrong. But let's say for the sake of argument that it happened the way that it happened, right? Girl, at the end of that scene, the teacher had to tell Carter, I believe, to tell his mama to get him on to get him into the Zoom on time. Now, if the teacher got to say something to the student about what the parent doing, parent, you needs to do better. Okay, you have to start getting up in the mornings, girl. And here's the thing: for those of you guys who may have trouble getting up in the morning, because I understand. As I shared with you yesterday, I deal with my own battle with anxiety. So the hardest time for me when I'm dealing with that is in the mornings when I'm getting out of bed. So I do understand that. But again, I have to work. So I can't just sit around, and I got goals. So I can't just sit around and wallow in it. And I had a friend of mine, he was much older. He worked in the music industry. And he told me I told him, if you guys recall, when I was on Stripped, I worked with a guy named Jeffrey. And he told me, because I told him I was depressed about living in LA. And he told me that depression was a luxury for people that can afford to do so. I guess what he was trying to equate that to was there are people in the world who don't have the luxury to sit around in bed all day and be depressed. Now, for me, what I will tell you is if you are going through any type of depression, seek some help, get some help. That is something that I would advise for Robin to be doing. But in the sense that she doesn't have that luxury to be depressed, because she has 2 kids who have to be up every day to get to school on time, to get to the Zooms. Now, I feel like if there is depression here, it needs to be dealt with. Okay. And I would love to see her go down that road of talking to someone, getting those feelings out, because this could be Robin's big breakthrough moment on this show. This could be her moment, because I feel like so many people deal with this on a day-to-day basis, but we still have to push through. And now if the kids are being chastised by the teachers, that's an even bigger sign that this is something that needs to be dealt with right now. Okay. Right now. So I hope that if that is what she is going through, that we will see this process as she goes through it, because it could be a teachable moment for so many of us. Thank you for the super chat, Precious Pisces. I appreciate you. So that's my soapbox about that. We get Karen, who is working on her Ladom wig launch. She's on a Zoom call describing the glueless installation for her wigs, and Ray is with her. Robin Rose said, except she said she didn't have depression. So what is it then? If it's not depression, what is it? Because if it's not depression, we got a whole nother issue. Okay. One of the things that I would say to them, though, is this, and I'm going to get back to the review. One of the things that I had to do was, okay, so when Bay leaves for work in the morning, I don't really have to be anywhere at any specific time, but I do like to go to the gym. And so as I'm battling through my anxiety about whatever it is that's going on in my life that is not dealt with, okay, I have found that the best way for me to get out of bed and start getting excited is for the lights to be turned all the way on. So all the lights in the room have to be turned on, the blinds up, or whatever the case may be, because that forces me to get out of the bed. So maybe Robin, when Juan gets up in the morning, if he's getting up at 5, he needs to turn on all the lights in the room, turn on the TV, turn on the music, and make sure she has the motivation at that point to get up, because he can possibly help her in some type of way as well. That would be my advice for her. But anyway, I digress. Giselle is meeting with Ashley for lunch. I was writing, Diana says she is lazy. Thank you for that super chat. I don't know what I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's laziness. I want to be sensitive to the fact that it could be depression, but if she's saying it's not depression, then I just don't know what it is. Okay. Because the work has to be done. The kids got to go to school. Okay. And they got to be on time. Giselle is meeting with Ashley for lunch. I like Ashley and Giselle's friendship somewhat. It's kind of like 2 messy queens together. Giselle says that Michael makes her nervous because of the MGM incident. Now, I'm just going to say this. Now, while this may be true about the MGM incident, there are plenty of other incidents for Giselle to have been worried about as well with the Jamal situation, according to the streets, allegedly. Okay. Ashley is giving him the benefit of the doubt, and Giselle is wary of Michael doing something with the nanny, because she says it in her confessional. And I didn't really like that, because I felt like she was speaking ill into Ashley's life to a certain degree. But I also understand if she is looking at her friend and her friend's man has a wandering eye, she might be concerned. I just think it's interesting because she had a man that everybody was saying also had a wandering eye. I don't know. Do I mind that Ashley is giving Michael the benefit of the doubt? Not really, because I understand. I feel like Ashley has a plan for her life and she is working her plan. Okay. And that's that. They recap Karen's party, and Ashley tells her that Mia called her just a pretty face after learning about Gizelle allegedly wishing death on Ray, which she didn't really wish death on Ray. It was the wording of it that was not good, but she did not wish death on Ray. But Mia called her just a pretty face after learning that from Karen. Gizelle is now looking at Mia sideways, and I guess she's going to want to confront her, but that's not going to happen because of something that Wendy does. Okay. Gizelle wants to throw a Pamper Ashley party. She just doesn't want to invite Karen. Ashley is advocating for Karen to be there, and Ashley is also advocating for Mia to be there as well, because Ashley knows if all these girls are there, it's going to be a mess. Okay. Tara says Karen is so pretentious. Now, since Wendy is seeking her help mentor, they are cool. Both Karen and Wendy are inflating each other's ego. Ooh, now that's an interesting observation. And yes, Terrell, Gizelle did kind of mention him dying again in last week's episode. I just think also too, it's just not a good look to mention death and a person's husband in the same sentence. Okay. It's just not a good look. I just wouldn't do it. Okay. Robin is working on her hat line with Skye. We're somewhat introduced to her rather sloppily. Okay. Again, this is where we could have really gotten into who she is. She's inviting Skye to the pamper party for Ashley, and Wendy stops by and meets Skye. Robin has outgrown her house, and so now she has a warehouse for the hats, okay? A warehouse for the hats, okay? And she has apparently blown up because she is now has helping her pack orders after hours, okay? Now, I would have assumed, I'm not going to criticize her business because I do feel like, she could have went the drop shipping route, which definitely would have saved her some time and some energy. But I also think that there's some merit in getting your own inventory and packing your own orders, because I think what it does is it helps you understand the business part of putting orders together and shipping them out. And so I'm not mad at that at all, really. I'm just shocked that it had grown to the point where she needed a warehouse. So I just have to say, if that's the case, then bravo to you, Robin. I'm still going to order my hat, and we're going to still talk about it when I put it on for one of the reviews this season. So y'all look out for that. I'm still going to do it. Now, Leah says them boxes are empty like her head. Y'all so silly. Diana says, I want Robin off the show. She brings absolutely nothing. She is bringing y'all hats. Okay, Diana. She's going to bring us some hats. Okay, that's what she's bringing this season. Thank you for that super chat, boo. Y'all know I love y'all. We got another one from Bruce. Says, I feel that Robin brought her on the show to help save her job. She needed dialogue with someone other than Gizelle. She hasn't brought anything. What I will say is this. Don't be surprised if next season Skye is a housewife and somebody else isn't. Now, I ain't wishing bad on her, but I'm just saying, I've seen how these things can work. You want to be careful about bringing somebody in, especially if they got a whole lot of personality. So, Robin, you might want to watch your back, okay? Yes, We got another super chat says, I just wanted to say hi and thank you for keeping us abreast. Yes, but getting back to it, I do feel that having your own inventory yourself helps you understand your business. So I'm going to give her kudos for that, because I'm getting the sense that she is doing the work, and I like that. I like that. And I just want her to keep that up. And I want her to keep that in the forefront of her mind as she is facing her day each day. You got something to get up for. You got some work to do. And that is something to be thankful for. Now, Wendy announces that she is starting a home essentials line. Okay. And Robin is confused about what happened to professor and political commentator. Now, here's the other thing that I'm going to say. I'm not mad at Wendy for wanting to start her own line, because similar to Robin, who I don't know what Robin, when she came on the show, she worked in PR from my memory. If memory serves me correct, season 1, I could have swore they said she worked in PR, public relations. So for Robin to have gone from public relations to housewife to now selling satin hats, I don't understand why she does not understand that Wendy wants to start her own home essential line. Everybody I know just about everybody I know is selling their own products and services. So I didn't understand why Robin was throwing so much shade at the fact that Wendy wanted to start her own thing. Did I think it was the best product for Wendy? I don't know. We could argue about that, but at the end of the day, Robin, you doing the same thing. Okay. But I can understand a little bit where her confusion is coming from, because I didn't get it with the candles, because I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, they discuss Karen's event and Mia. Wendy describes Mia putting her hands in her face. Now, what I want you guys to notice is, it doesn't come up now, but it'll come up later, and we'll talk about it then. But Robin tells Escala that Karen drinks a lot, and she wants to know why Robin wants to know why Wendy stopped her from coming at Karen when they were at Wendy's house for that dinner. So 2 things happened here. Robin tells Escala that Karen drinks a lot. Remember that, because that's going to come up later. Now, Robin also wants to know from Wendy why she stopped her from coming at Karen at that dinner 2 episodes, just last episode. And Robin is disturbed that Wendy did not have Gizelle's back. Wendy said it was her event and she didn't want anyone to feel attacked. Now, here's what I didn't like. I do feel like just because you, Robin, have an unwavering allegiance to Gizelle does not mean that everyone else is going to have that same allegiance to her. And what I like about Wendy is that she, at least this season, seems to be thinking for herself. Okay. And she's correct. If it was my house and if it was my event, I don't want any of my guests to feel threatened or to feel ganged up on, specifically if it is someone that I am actually looking to build a friendship with, which we'll see in just a second. We see Mia with Gordon discussing business, and she gets Gizelle's invite to Ashley's event. She recaps the event with Wendy to Gordon, and she thinks that Eddie, who is Wendy's husband, is afraid of her. And listen, I feel like this. If you're a husband and a wife team, I feel like you should definitely always have your husband's or wife's back. So to me, I just feel like that's what it is, personally. Candace, we see her. She is with Chris. He is organizing his bar. The kids are hungry, and Miss Dorothy calls and questions why he's drinking during the day. Now, again, I don't really know what Chris does. So if you want to drink during the day and if you ain't got a lot to do, then go right ahead. Candace relays that she's meeting with Karen. Miss Dorothy says to be careful. Candace is upset because Karen defended Monique. We already know that. They get into the music conversation, and she tells her mama that Chris is her husbander. And Miss Dorothy is like, be careful. Miss Dorothy does not like that Chris's sole source of income could be Candace's career, okay? And Candace then wants her mother to mind her business. So my advice to you, Candace, is to not tell your mother your business if you want her to mind her own. Sometimes in life, it is okay to show people what you're doing as you're doing it, because then they feel like they have a part of that process. And then they become much more engaged in what you're doing as you go along. But sometimes in life, and you have to use discernment when you do this, you have to know when to move in silence and then pop out with the finished product. And in this case, Candace, my advice to you would be to pop out with the finished product and stop telling Dorothy everything. She don't need to know every step of the way. She don't need to know what Chris is doing with and how he's moving with his finances unless you want her to know. And if you want her to know, then you can't say subsequently mind your business. Okay. Wendy heads to Karen's house. And I'm kind of liking this friendship, even though I don't really know how they got there. Wendy wants business advice from Karen, and Wendy wants to be the Black Martha Stewart. And I was thinking to myself, times have changed with the two of these women, because it seemed like initially from last year, Wendy's perception of Karen was that because she didn't come to Karen as to be her mentor, that Karen felt threatened by her. So it's very interesting that this season she is in fact coming to Karen as for mentorship. That's basically what's happening. But in another sense, that could be Wendy's way of getting to know Karen better, okay, for whatever reason. We learned that Wendy has written one paragraph of her business plan. Karen wants to know who is the market, and Karen is really asking her all the right questions. And for whatever reason, for Wendy, the budget is $20,000, and Karen has already told her to double it. Now, let me say this. I don't know much about candles. Now, there is a product that I am developing myself. It did not cost me $20,000, but it did cost me a couple of thousand to develop it. And I will talk about it as soon as we finish getting these labels right. But what I will say is that, I mean, $40,000 is a lot for a line of candles. Okay. I need this candle to burn for all of eternity if you are putting $40,000 into this candle. That's what I need. I need for the candle to grow flowers, okay? I need for this candle scent to light up the entire house for $40,000. But that's just me. However, Karen may be thinking about the broader range of what this line could be. And Karen does know, because Karen got the Ladons, okay? But that's just my thought, okay? That's just my thought. Because quiet as it's kept, you can go on to Shopify. Again, I always refer y'all back to Shopify. And you can download one of them apps and they can make the candle for you, okay? And that will not cost you but nothing but $29.99 for the Shopify app. But that's just me. Anyway, back at Mia's, Joshua's father and G get along very well. So one of her kids is by somebody else, and we learned that the daddy gets along with G, okay? Mia's discussing her mom coming back up, and apparently the mom and the dad had drug issues, and she ended up in foster care. We get into some issues with her mom. Their relationship is non-existent. She just remembers her mom giving her up, and Mia wants to talk about her hurt with her mom. Now, I will say this, you know, if she can get her mom on the TV to talk about it, this could be a good storyline. But if she can't get her mom on the TV to talk about it, then I don't know where it's going to go. And I do feel like we're going to see her mom based on what we saw in the trailer. However, you got to make sure that your mama is ready to have that conversation, because if not, then it ain't really going to go nowhere. And I honestly think that when you're having those types of conversations, you probably need to have them with the help of a therapist as well. But that's just my perspective on the situation. There are many other perspectives out there, and I'm not a psychologist or a therapist or a counselor. I'm just simply me, someone who is constantly seeking help and seeking to learn. So my statement still stands. Get somebody else in there to be the mediator, Mia, so that you guys can work through this issue together, okay? Now, over to Candace's house, Karen comes to visit. She takes Karen's coat, okay? Note that Karen does not try to hand it off to the little girl, okay? But the little girl has gotten smart this time because she didn't even come down those stairs. She's like, nope, I'm not playing. I'm not taking nobody's coat today, okay? And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. The little girl came down the steps. She peeked and she was like, oh, not today, and went back back up them steps, okay? Karen senses there's a piece about Candace who wants to move forward. Karen says she does not regret her decision to be neutral in the situation between Candace and Monique. And I really respect Karen for saying that, because what Karen could have done was back down, particularly because Monique is no longer on the show, and acquiesce to what Candace wanted her to do. But she did not. And she stuck to her guns, and she was very honest with Candace. And I really like that, because I do feel like Karen really loves and cares for Candace. I just hope that Candace can come around to her and really realize that I feel in my spirit that Karen cares for Candace, especially more so than some of those other ladies in the group. But that's just me. Candace says she just doesn't trust Karen at this point, and they decide to take it one step at a time. But Candace is just going to keep it cute with Karen, and that's just about it. Okay, but we did get an appearance from the Kleenex, the Kleenex corner this episode, and I was actually pretty surprised that we had not seen it earlier, because last year that was Candace's thing with the Kleenex, but we only saw it once this episode, and I don't really think we're gonna see it that much this season, to be honest with you. Gizelle is setting up for Ashley's pamper party, and Candace shows up first. I'm not really sure why Candace is there, because she don't even like Ashley, but she's there nonetheless, and she's there to collect her paycheck and be seen at the event, okay? She recaps her conversation with Karen, and Gizelle thinks it's effed up that Karen won't apologize to Candace. And I'm like, for what? She's standing by her beliefs. Why should she apologize? Wendy shows up next. Robin's next. And Robin has been on time these past few episodes. I want y'all to know that. Escala comes and she brings champagne. Karen arrives, ignores Gizelle, and then Gizelle says that she's going to ignore Karen until Karen admits to her lies. Okay. And so Mia arrives and Wendy looks disgusted. So of course, Mia sits down right beside Wendy. Duh. So they play a game of who's pregnant by guessing the pregnant bellies. This was cute. Candace's photo basically was that she was pregnant with possibilities. Ashley and Escala get up first to go get their spa treatments. So Karen and Mia recap what happened with Mia and Wendy. Wendy tells her, don't ever try me like that again. She says, I was basically being nice because I was at somebody else's home, okay? But Wendy says she is now Zen Wen, but she has time for her today, okay? And then she says, tick tock. Now, Mia says, I talk with my hands. In the flashback that we saw, I want you guys to note something. In the flashback, when Mia was talking about how she told Wendy, well, my hands are in your face, what are you going to do about it? Candace said, well, that can be perceived as threatening. Did you hear when she said that? Okay. Now, I point this out to you only to point out that I feel like Candace may have learned a valuable lesson, okay? We have talked about it. We have disagreed about it, but putting your hands in somebody's face never works out well. Tammy Roman told us, when you start putting your hands up, I start feeling threatened. Okay. Then, so when Candace said it in this episode, I said she's had her aha moment and she understands now what that can do. Okay. So I was happy. I'm not going backwards, but I just wanted y'all to notice that she said that. Okay. And I have to acknowledge she finally gets it. Okay. Now let's get back to Wendy's read of Mia. Now, I enjoy Wendy. I do. But I felt as though that was slightly rehearsed. It almost had the same cadence of when Phaedra read Kenya at that reunion, because what you will know, okay, it was almost said in that same cadence. I don't know. I just felt like she was probably thinking about it in her head on the drive there and was like, this is what I'm gonna say to her. I'm gonna go off. If they bring this up, I know exactly what I'm gonna say to her. That's how I feel. And I like Wendy again. I do, but I did feel a little bit like it was a rehearsed read there. Okay. Cy Young says the hypocrisy of it all. Robin needs a brain of her own. And how can Wendy say, oh, Wendy would have popped someone, but Monique's pop equal a problem? Explain. Okay. Thank you, Cy. We got another one, says another super chat that says from JD, who says Zen Win has all of those degrees, but clearly doesn't understand the meaning of Zen. Relax. How many times we got to hear I got time? Now, I will have to address this as well. Again, I like Wendy, but you cannot say I am Zen Win and then tell someone I got time, TikTok. Okay. That and Zen don't match. If you are Zen Win would have just let it go. Okay, girl, I don't have time for you today. I came here to relax, get my spa treatment, and get me a facial. Okay. And then when I get home, I'm gonna get something from my man. That's Zen. Okay. But what she did was not Zen at all. She was actually fairly aggressive. So aggressive that even, oh, no. Oh, whoa. Let me back up. I apologize for using that word aggressive. It slipped out of my mouth. Let me say this. I know as long as as short as the day is long, that word cannot be used. We learned it last year. Let me apologize in advance, and I'm not being sarcastic, because Lord knows I do not want the aggressive police to come and get me. But I do feel like she definitely wants in, okay? I take back my use of the word aggressive. I subtract it from the record, y'all. Lord have mercy, okay? Lord have mercy. But she won't Zen, okay? She was everything but Zen, okay? Meanwhile, y'all know that word aggressive. Woo. The people know. No. Won't get me today. No Name says, when it comes to reading, Wendy could never hang with the Atlanta girls. Whoa. Thank you for that, No Names. I love it. Passionate. Okay. Wendy was passionate. Okay. She was passionate. Okay. Wendy tells Mia that she keeps putting her foot in her mouth every time she opens her mouth. Mia tells her that Mia says that Wendy is unhappy at home, and that's why she's coming across so passionate. And Mia is ready to walk out, but Wendy tells her she's been dismissed. Okay. Passionate. Okay. So Gizelle is trying to interject. Okay. Gizelle was trying to interject because she wanted to also have her moment with Mia for saying that she was just a pretty face. But because Wendy was so passionate, okay, so passionately going in on Mia, Gizelle could not get in a word edgewise. So Gizelle has to check Wendy and tell her that in a conversation, Mia also has to be able to speak her piece. Wendy in her confessional, did not appreciate Gizelle and Robin defending Mia because, you know, Robin kind of interjected herself a little bit. And they told Wendy that she wasn't being Zen Wendy. Now, Candace also kind of has to check Wendy as well. Candace says that Wendy is feeling like she needs to pump up her chest when Mia is around for some reason, and she doesn't want her friend to have to do that, okay? So they all kind of have to give Wendy a little bit of the business about how hard she was going in on Mia in that situation. Escala then totally flips the subject and brings up Karen drinking heavily. Karen apparently calls the ladies when she's drinking, if I'm understanding Ashley correctly. Karen seems like fun when she's drinking, so I don't really know, but Karen talks about how dangerous it is to talk about people having a drinking problem, and those shady producers, sure enough, bring up the flashback of Karen calling Gizelle a drunk, okay? Chaos and confusion. I told y'all, Karen is my queen, but she's the queen of chaos and confusion, okay? So those producers said, oh, no, you won't, not today, because we remember a time when you called somebody else a drunk, okay? Meanwhile, they get into Mia, and Mia reveals that she became a stripper when she met G. So she says that she doesn't do the pole. It's a gentleman's club and a 5-star restaurant. She gets paid for her time, but she does not do favors, okay? Now, I thought, Mia, we got to work up on that timeline. Work up on that timeline, yeah. Okay, because last week, I thought G met you when you was the bartender, but this week he met you when you was the stripper in the gentleman's club in the ball gown. I'm just trying to figure out, because listen, and I wanted, Mia, I love you, I do, but you got to get that timeline right, because the girls will get you. The girls are gonna get you together if you don't have that timeline right. You know how they did when the math won't mathin'? They're gonna get you when the timeline don't timeline. Okay, so just get that part right, and then you'll be good to go. Okay, you're gonna have to work up on that timeline. Okay, Cynthia says, does Mia remind Wendy of her husband's ex-girlfriend or his next girlfriend? Y'all is savage. But we're gonna pray to God that there's a happy family for the rest of their life. That's what we're gonna pray for. Okay. We got another one from S Love says, Wendy is jealous of Mia because everyone was more interested in Mia and all of her surgeries. Wendy got outshined at her own party by the new girl. Oh, I didn't think about it like that. Thank you, S Love. I'm reading y'all comments. Y'all so silly. Okay. Anyway, Ashley's not buying Mia's timeline or her story. Candace ain't buying it either. What I do like is that they didn't spend much time on it. The way when we saw it in the preview clip, I thought that they were going to spend more time being aghast. Oh my God, she was a stripper. I really thought that they was going to take that route, and I'm proud that they didn't, because again, to me, that in this day and age, that ain't nothing. Okay, that ain't nothing. We all know. I'm sure you know 100 people that were strippers. Well, maybe not 100, but you probably know, everybody knows somebody that was a stripper at one point in time. And what you do in your past does not reflect where you go in your future. Okay, how about that one? Anyway, I was happy that they didn't waste much time on it, because, you know, in some other cities, on some other franchises, that would have been the main storyline, the shock and awe over someone being a stripper. Ooh. Anyway, Karen is on board with it and wants pole lessons from Mia. Gizelle, oddly, has to dip out, okay? Escala wants to pray for Ashley's birth, and then they all want to pray for peace, okay? That was the episode, okay? That was the episode. It was good. It was good. But yes, exactly, Leandra. Thank you. Okay. Look at her now. Okay. I don't know why Gizelle left her event early. Although, to be fair, Karen did leave her wig event early last season. So, I mean, it is what it is at this point. I guess sometimes you got other things to do. Maybe she had a date. Right. Oh my God. On Real Housewives of New York, they were all in shock because Leah had a tattoo on her back. It's 2020 and 2021. Come on, people. Get with the times. Get with the times. Yes, it's not a taboo these days. Absolutely. Meanwhile, I love these ladies. I love them all. Everybody's bringing it this season in some way, shape, or form. I can't even lie. I don't really know what's going on with this Robin situation, but we're going to have to find out. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why Wendy and Mia just can't get along, but I guess we're going to find out at some point or another. Next week, it looked like Mia is battling the Green Eye Bandits, so I don't know how that's going to go either. I'm still trying to figure out how it gets to the point where Mia throwing salad at Candace. How does that happen? And I'm also trying to figure out, when is production going to introduce this notion that Gizelle is asking Ashley about these Eddie rumors, bringing the story to the show, because we didn't get it this episode. So I guess we got to wait. Okay. But that's the review for Real Housewives of Potomac, y'all. Listen, I see some of y'all asking about the candles, and we're going to talk about that in another video. I'm going to do another video. We're going to talk about it. But for right now, I just wanted to do the review. Now, with that being said, y'all, make sure y'all listen. Tell somebody you love them today. We do these reviews and we have fun doing it. Don't take it too personally, y'all. Don't take it too serious. We just having a good time. This is our way in the community here of decompressing and recapping and digesting the episode that we just watched. So y'all know we do everything in this channel. We do it in love and laughter. In case nobody's told you today, I love y'all. Listen. And y'all tell somebody else that you love them. Even if you just tell one person, normalize telling people that you love them, because life is way too short. With that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video.